Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Red and White Show. Joining me to look ahead to this weekend's game against Leyton and Orient, Rovers goalkeeping coach Ian Bennett and Club Doncaster media manager Liam Hoden. Benno, welcome to the show first of all. We'll look onto this weekend's game very shortly, but how have you found your first few months with the club?
I've really enjoyed it. It's a good club to come and work for. We're all focused, we're all driven on what we want for Doncaster Rovers.
Talk us through how the move here came about. Of course, you left Middlesbrough in the summer. How did you come about from your perspective?
I went up to Middlesbrough with Neil Warnock. Obviously he left his post and Chris Wilder came in. Worked with Chris till the end of the season, and he just said he wanted to go his own way, which in football, that's life. Different managers want to bring their own staff in, and I think that's what happened. And then the next step was really have a couple of weeks off, 3 weeks off, but after a week I got a call from Gary and asked if I fancied it. So I came and had a chat with Gary, who I'd played a little bit with at Coventry and obviously played against throughout my career. I knew Steve Eyre as a coach from when I was a player at Huddersfield. So I came and had a talk with Gary and James Coppinger and really liked what they wanted me to do with the role. And it progressed from there, and this is where I am now.
What's it like coming into a new club and a new environment, even after all the experience you've got as a player and a coach? Do you still got those little bits of nerves and excitement before your first day?
Everything you said, yeah. You come and you drive through, and it's a whole different environment, it's a whole different challenge, different set of staff, different set of players, but something you really want to grasp and get your teeth into, you know. And everything's been positive since I've been here. Every day I want to come in and give the best for this club, and I'm really enjoying it and looking forward to what we can achieve.
Liam, I think everybody in the summer when Ian was appointed notified it as a really solid appointment, given the experience he's got, as I said, as a player and a coach. Of course, Stephen Andes was in position before he reverted back to his position in the academy, but it's not very often somebody with Ian's experience becomes available.
Certainly not, and certainly not for a club at the level that Rovers find themselves in now. As you said, it were one of them you thought, actually, yeah, really good, solid appointment. He's bringing that experience because, as we know, Lewis Jones still a young lad. Ben Bottomley still making those first steps, and Johnny Mitchell as well. He's not had a massive amount of senior experience. This is where he's kind of looking to kick on from at this stage. So having someone with Ian's experience is massive.
What do you make to the goalkeeping department as it is, Benno? Because you've got Jonathan as your number one at present, Lewis pushing him all the way, and then Ben Bottomley still earning his stripes. He's had a couple of loan spells recently. You are, I suppose, a team within a team there, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it. Every goalkeeping coach will tell you the lads probably see more than me than any other player or coach. So we are a team. We are all driven by getting the best out of each other. They're a good, honest group. They're receptive to what we throw at them and also what they throw back at me. Obviously, we go through different scenarios about teams we're playing, and our week's probably built towards that. But first impressions, they've all got something for this club to go forward. Unfortunately, only one person can play in that position, which we've had throughout my career. And the one good thing is, I know how they feel when they've had a victory, and I know how they feel when they've had a loss. So with the experience I've got, and also moving forward, what we can give them, I think we've got a good group to take forward.
Yeah, now Rio Griffiths returned to the squad recently. He came off the bench at Rochdale and then made a start against Hartlepool in midweek. He's been explaining just how difficult it was to get injured on the eve of the new campaign. Rio, back in the team the last week or so, a sub-appearance against Rochdale followed by a start against Hartlepool. How have you found it, getting back up to speed?
Yeah, no, it's been good. Been training, heavy, a lot of load. I've been doing a lot with the physio and stuff to get me back. It's been a while. It was really, really good to get some minutes when I came on, and then obviously to start, that was massive for me. just the second game back. So no, I was really excited.
Yeah, you were called back into action against Rochdale. You came on at 2-1 and helped the team see the game out. Did you need those few minutes, do you feel, just to sort of blow the cobwebs off a little bit?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously I couldn't start after so long out. I think it was about 9 or 10 weeks. Yeah, I felt like I needed, 10 or 15 minutes just to get myself going. I didn't think I did that bad when I came on, so it was just nice to get my legs going for the next game.
How frustrating was it to get the injury when you did? The last pre-season game, you've got a week to go until the season. On the pitch at FC United, you roll your ankle and end up with ankle ligament damage. Just talk us through how disappointing that was and how much getting over it took.
No, it was awful, especially the time in last game of pre-season. We did a lot. I was really, really fit at the time, and then to come on and then that happens, it just killed me. I was down for quite a while. The lads helped me, get me back up, and I kept pushing, kept training and stuff. But no, it was awful timing, but things happen. It happened, so I'm back on better now, so just push on.
How did you sort of overcome it? I know Ollie Younger had an injury probably that week as well, didn't he? So there's been a couple of you in the treatment room early on in the season. Did that help? That you got other people there pushing to get back to full fitness as well? Yeah,
to be fair, it did. I think it was about 3 or 4 of us, me, Closey, AD. And obviously when I came in and I found out Ollie had done his, it was just, it's just awful for the boys, but the fact that we was all there together, pushing each other on, we was all outside together, so I don't think it was that bad. When you're isolated, I think it's more difficult, but no, it was all right.
Once you had an end goal in mind, did that make it a lot easier and make the days and the weeks become a little bit quicker?
Yeah, Mick sort of put a plan together of when I would roughly come back, my first game when it would be, so I was just working to that target, and every week just felt better and better, and you feel stronger. So yeah, it was really good.
It's a big game coming up this weekend. Leyton Orient, top of the table, arriving in South Yorkshire, of course, themselves off the back of a disappointing result on Tuesday night. Plenty to play for both teams.
Yeah, no, I think we can get at them. They obviously lost their last game, so we'll look to pounce on that and hopefully get 3 points on Saturday.
I'm sure you'll be itching to get off the mark as well. There were a couple of little half chances, weren't there? A couple of ricochets that maybe bounced the ball, didn't quite favour you on Tuesday. Did you feel that one's not too far away?
Yeah, there was one first half. I remember the cross came in the box and I was thinking shoot first time, but it's just my first start, so I probably weren't ready or up to speed for that. But no, hopefully next game I can push on and score.
Benno Rio's come back into the group and at a key time as well with George Miller missing the Hartlepool defeat through injury, and it's been a case of that a little bit this season, hasn't it? Players seem to come back just as somebody else drops out. A bit of a frustration, I imagine, for the coaching staff. Yeah,
it is really. Unfortunately, there have been people injured and people who are not got in the team, people who are out of the team, but Rio adds a little different dimension to what we want, the physicality, the hold-up play. And if we wanted to go a little bit more direct, it gives us another option.
When he arrived, Lee, he's come with a lot of pedigree, hasn't he? His goals in particular with the Spurs Academy. He made the move to France, which is a brave move for a young man to make. He's then come back to England, got a couple of goals under his belt last season. I think it's fair to say the Rovers fans still to see the best of him. No, it was difficult for him. He'd not played an awful lot of football during that spell in France, certainly the latter part of it with COVID and things like that. It had really he was coming near having to kind of rebuild himself in terms of his fitness and things like that, and he probably didn't quite get up to the level that you'd have wanted before the end of the season, and then all of a sudden, just as you say, the last game before the season starts, he suffers an injury. So it's been a frustrating few months for him, and as you say, I don't think we've seen the best of him yet, but he is a player who's got a tremendous amount of ability and really can be anything that he wants to be. As timing goes, Benno, to get injured in the final pre-season game, that's a big kick in the teeth for any player, isn't it? So you've got to have a certain amount of mental stability to be able to come back and be stronger for it.
Yeah, he's working day in, day out with the physio when he's seeing everyone out on the pitch. And obviously, like I say, the unfortunate thing was it was in pre-season and he'd probably want to hit the ground running, want to show everyone what he can do and earn that spot. And then he just sees that taken away from him, and then sees the other people who've come in and taken his spot, how well they've been doing, So, yeah, hopefully all the manager wants is a full team, full squad to choose from, and competition for places. And now, hopefully, Rio's got that bit between his teeth where he just wants that run of games.
From Rio then to one of his teammates, it's time now for Luke Molyneux to take part in the latest quickfire round.
My name's Luke Molyneux, I am 24 years old. Bishop Auckland. Newton Aycliffe Football Club. I was always a Sunderland fan, but I switched between Sunderland and Man United when I was young, but probably mainly Sunderland. It was always Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, but quickly switched to Messi towards the later stages. Yeah, so Ronaldo when I was young. Oh, probably have to say Messi. Just what he does is incredible, I think. So yeah, I'd probably have to say Messi. Harrogate away last season, just a cut in and a top bins, but I probably couldn't have hit any better. Kenton Richardson, he's at Gateshead, he was at Sunderland last year, yeah. Eats, I do like a Nando's, yeah, I'd probably say Nando's. A cheap meal, gotta be a Mackey's, McDonald's all day long. Heights. Non-footballing talent. I actually don't even think I've got one. Probably pretty screwed if I don't play football. Yeah, I don't even know if I've got one. Formula 1. Currently watching. I just watched that Jeffrey Dahmer thing. That was a really good watch, to be fair. I actually don't listen to a lot of music, you know. Like I don't, in my car, well I only live a couple of minutes away, so I don't get a chance to listen to much, but yeah, I don't actually listen to much. Last film. I've watched it before, but I started watching it again last night, the new Batman film, so really good film. Who would play me? I'll say Leo DiCaprio, even though he looks nothing like me. You can die there. Marbella. If it could be anything, I'd go in F1 without a doubt.
Driving?
Yeah. Superpower. Probably go invisible. I played a lot of sports when I was young. I played a lot of like squash, table tennis. I played quite a lot of table tennis. Probably say table tennis, yeah. I'd probably take closies, like calmness and quality on the ball.
Luke, on the quick-fire round there, we saw perhaps one of his best performances in a Rovers shirt on Tuesday night at Hartlepool, although clearly desperate for a goal on his return to Victoria Park. His all-round game was really good and really threatening, wasn't it?
Yeah, and what were really good about it was the fact that it came across 2 or 3 different positions. You know, he started just off the striker, moved out wide, moved across to the other side, and showed a bit of everything in each position, particularly probably late on in the game, on that left-hand side that we've not seen him in an awful lot of him in so far. That's really positive. He'll have been desperate for that goal, I think you could tell in that performance as well. But, you know, I think we're starting, again, another player who was kind of progress were hampered a little bit by injury in pre-season, but we're starting to see those signs of what he was producing at this level last season.
You wouldn't have been surprised had he popped up with a goal on Tuesday either, would you? He was getting pelters from the home crowd, wasn't he? And speaking to him, I think he'd said beforehand he wasn't going to celebrate if he'd scored out of respect, but I think had it come 80 minutes onwards, we might have seen something a little bit different. Yeah,
you couldn't have blamed him really if he'd have chucked a little celebration in after scoring in those circumstances under that amount of sort of for targeting by the home fans. But yeah, I think it were a good one and one that he'll be really keen to kick on against a top quality side this weekend.
Now, it's been a busy few weeks for Nadia Khan of the Doncaster Rovers Bells, who, having received her first call-up for the Pakistan national team, became the first ever footballer to score 4 goals in one game against the Maldives.
Nadia, you're back off international duty with Pakistan. How was that experience for you?
I mean, it was a wonderful experience. It was a dream come true really, and playing international football in comparison to club football, it's a whole different ball game, and I loved every single minute of it. Yeah.
How did the call-up come around?
Call up around basically. So to start off with, the PFF was banned for around 8 years. And then apparently they were looking at my performance for around 2 years before they actually called me up, which was a surprise to me and a shock to me because I didn't realise they were actually keeping an eye on me for around 2 years. But call up came around about a month before I went out to Nepal, and they basically came in contact and asked me if I would like to join Pakistan International Women's. I was like, oh, what an opportunity this is, and I took it with both hands, and wow, I wouldn't look back. Yeah.
One of the iconic moments from your time out there was scoring 4 goals. That was making history for Pakistan, really. How do you feel about that?
I mean, scoring just 1 goal would have been, do you know what I mean, my dream, but scoring 4, I didn't even know how to celebrate. I mean, after the second goal, I didn't even know what to do, but scoring 4 goals was an amazing achievement for myself, and hopefully I made everybody else proud who support me as well, yeah.
You're a young woman yourself. Was that your first time going abroad on your own? How did you find that whole experience?
Yeah, I mean, going abroad on holiday is totally different to obviously travelling by yourself, especially for international duty, but it was an amazing experience, and I was quite nervous going alone because it was my first time flying that far abroad by myself, and I think it helped me grow as a person because I've come back more confident, and the whole experience has been a wonderful journey.
How were the fans out there with you?
Oh, the fans, honestly, they were amazing. Like, I've made so many different fans from Pakistan and Nepal as well, and they're in contact through social media too, and they give my love and support. Even when I'm playing with Doncaster Rovers, they give me good luck and wish you all the best, and even through our losses through these games, they're like, pick your head up, Nadia, and I think that's beautiful because they don't know me on a personal level, and I haven't really met them, but they still support me out there, and I find that, yeah, lovely.
And you've been out there playing with a different team around a different kind of culture, if you like. Have you learnt any lessons from your time out there?
Well, the whole experience being out there has been an eye-opener for me because obviously being in the UK and experiencing football in this kind of aspect is more, there's a lot more investment, a lot more facilities that we have, and out there you don't see as many facilities, but how they use, and to their maximum ability, how they use like just different fields to practice, and it's an amazing thing to see because I take a lot of things for granted, but now do you know what I mean? I use it as I'm so grateful for everything that I have and all the facilities that I do have, and we all use together, and I think it's an amazing experience that I've had out there, and it's made me a better person. Yeah.
And not long after arriving back in England, moving back to Bells now, there's been a change in manager. Nick Buxton is now in charge. How have you found that transition?
I mean, the transition, it wasn't really a transition, I would say, because Nick's been there with Andy throughout this time, and it's not really much of a transition because we all had the same goal, the same mindset of what we wanted to achieve throughout the season. I think that carrying that forward, it's not going to be much of a change, and I think Nick's still part of the family. He'll always be part of the family, and it's not much of a change, so I think we should carry on with what we already set and planned for.
5 league games into the season so far. It's 3 defeats and 2 losses. What have you made to the start for the Bells so far?
It's been a bit of a challenge obviously because of the change, but and some of the players obviously, we've had a little change round, but I believe that going forward now we just need to focus on our little setbacks that we obviously need to learn from games and touch upon a few things, but I think going forward that we'll bounce back and go for the wins again.
Liam, it's been a whirlwind few months for Nadia, hasn't it? After getting the call up, scoring all the goals, and now she's back in a Bell shirt, flourishing as well. It's
an incredible story, you know. I think that kind of sort of scouting with any interest from her in playing for Pakistan. The next thing she's being called up. The next thing she's playing in an international tournament and scoring 4 goals in 1 game. This is on the back of as well. That's kind of catapulted her to the forefront of women's football in Pakistan because they're coming off the back of an 8-year ban from competing at international levels. She's come back, and then all of a sudden this bright young star coming from Doncaster Rovers Bells and scoring goals. It's a wonderful story.
Yeah, great news for Nadia, the Bells and Club Doncaster as a whole. On to this weekend's fixture then, Benno, a massive game really for both teams. Rovers coming into it off the back of a disappointing defeat on Tuesday. Orient beaten for the first time last weekend, one that probably both clubs would be relishing really.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously it adds a little bit of spice with the ex-manager as well, so we'll certainly be up for it. We know what the challenge, what lies ahead. We've certainly planned and prepared for it as best we can. Given that we had a midweek game, but everything will be attention to detail. We want to play front foot football and really get back to winning ways.
Liam, of course, with Richie Wellens returning for the first time, it's been almost 10 months now since he departed the club, maybe a little bit more than that, but his team have started well this season. I think they broke the record, didn't they, for most points in the opening 10 games, 28 in total, but all of a sudden signs against Newport last weekend that maybe you can get at them.
Yeah, certainly got no team, and certainly at this level, no team's invincible. You know, it was always going to come at some point that they would drop points, and it'll be interesting to see how they react to that. You know, you're getting that winning feeling. What happens when that's broken, and particularly in the circumstances it were against Newport last weekend. So it'll be really interesting to see how they are. Gary McSheffrey, when we spoke to him earlier, very much focused on what Rovers do. As Benno said, front foot football, concentrating on what Rovers do and how they can hurt Leyton Orient, and we'll see what happens this weekend.
Is that the key, Benno? When you've got quality in your team as Rovers have, it's easy to get sucked into what might Orient do. Will they mix it up? Will they go with the same team? But you've got that quality yourselves, and you know if you're at your best, you're more than capable of winning the game. That's
right. Obviously, we've got to get our game focus on, you know, and if we play well, I think we're more than capable of beating anyone in this division, you know. But once you drop off your standards, and we all know that, then anyone in this division can beat anyone, and we found that through the season. But no, we're going to focus on ourselves, what we need to do, look at the strengths and weaknesses of Orient, and hopefully we can exploit them on Saturday. What
an opportunity, Liam, for Rovers to really kick-start the campaign. It's been a little bit scratchy, the form, hasn't it, over recent weeks. Couple of wins followed by that defeat against Hartlepool. If you can beat the league leaders, and I know Gary McSheffrey and his coaching staff will say it's just another game, but for the Rovers fans coming up against Richie Wellens, and not only his tenure as a manager, but also a very good player here as well.
Yeah, definitely. It can be massive, a really positive result this weekend, and a positive performance as well. You look back, the place was galvanised with that early season form, and that came against the top teams in the division. You know, some fantastic performances, battling performances, and wonderful results. All of a sudden, this little period that's been underway, it's been, as you said, been a little bit scratchy. That can be, you know, the good feeling can be back again among the supporters with a really good showing this weekend.
Ben, I won't push you for a score prediction, but Liam, I'll give you the opportunity to put your neck on the line a little bit.
Neck on the line. I think it might be a tight one. I think I would go for a draw. I don't think that'd be the worst result in the world at all, but I'd say 1-1 this weekend.
Benno, Liam, thank you for your company. Thank you at home for watching on as well. Get down to the Eco Power this weekend. It promises to be a brilliant game between Rovers and the league leaders against Leyton Orient.